It is true. No matter how good and compelling your photographs are, online customers still buy with their eyes. When they like the look of a product, for instance a watch, they make a buying decision based on the photograph. So, how can you use styling tips to help to improve your watch photography and make that watch look like it is worth buying? At the end of the day, it is a matter of bringing your product photography to life using lighting and styling techniques. Understanding the brand. When you are working with a brand, it is important to understand the brand concept. There are brands out there that have very strict and demanding brand requirements. A good example would be color. They may have their own dedicated brand colors they would like you to use. If you are photographing skincare and beauty products, a brand may ask you to include a specific flower or plant in the photo. The flower is an indication of what the product is made from and is meant to convey a message that it is a natural active ingredient. When it comes to props for product photography for beauty brands, you will often be asked to use natural objects. In the brief, try to get as much information as possible from your client. It helps if you are familiar with the competition and the brand's target audience. Planning your shoot. Never just jump into a shoot. Jumping straight into a product shoot is one of the worst things that you can do as a photographer. Once you are on site or in your studio, you don't want to be caught short without any props for product photography if you photograph other genres as well. Many photographers put together styling boards or make simple initial drawings of how they would like the composition to look. Don't worry, they don't have to be complicated sketches. If you can draw, simply make a simple sketch and indicate in words where you would like the props to go. It would be fair to say you need to see the shoot in your mind's eye before you set it up in a studio. Working in this way saves a lot of time. You are fully prepared for everything that you will need to complete the shoot professionally. Another good idea is to make a list of everything that you will need. How do I source my props for product photography? Most product photographers build up their own inventory of products over time. You will find that photographers often have cupboards of different props that they have collected over the years. Of course, it all depends on the products that you are photographing. More than anything, it is important that the props you use to provide context to the object. You may even find that the brand you are working for use certain indicators on their label. Why not back up the contextual items you see on the label with your props? That way, you are adding value to the brand and helping them to tell their brand story. Think about color, shape, size, and structure. A bottle of Japanese sake will look great when photographed next to a branch of flowering cherry. The audience will make an instant connection and think about your product more or less straight away. Scale matters. Does scale matter? The simple answer to that is yes. The last thing you want is for the props to overwhelm the product or object that you are photographing. Scaling is something that you have to learn to work with when it comes to placement. Don't start photographing until you are completely happy. Take your time and find the best place to place objects. This is important when it comes to color as well as distance. How close do you put on a prop to make sure that prop does not overwhelm the object? When you set the shoot up, stand back and look at the way your eyes are being directed. Are your eyes drawn to the props or the product? If your eyes are drawn to the props instead of the product, they are either too big or do not complement the product in the way they have been placed. Does the background matter? The background in photography matters just as much as the foreground or any props that you place to the sides of the product. The first thing you should do is to think about the purpose of the photograph. Is this a hero product shot? If it is, you want to be extra careful when you pick a background color or effect. White is a color for hero shots. Marble, stone, and rock can easily end up looking completely washed out when you don't use studio lighting correctly. Props for product photography can be expensive, but when it comes to background props, you can get away with cheaper alternatives. Consider using craft paper, fabric, and maybe wallpaper. All of these can be thought of as props for product photography. Alternatively, you can paint wood to create the background effect that you are looking for. Just remember that gloss and matte paints both behave differently under studio lighting conditions. Showcase the product. The first thing you want to think about is if you should photograph the product indoors or outdoors. When you are photographing outdoor hiking gear, you should think about photographing in a more natural environment. Studio photos of things such as camping equipment and fishing gear will look better when photographed outside. You can take the opportunity to tell a story at the same time. Smaller objects including perfumes, drinks, and skincare are better photographed under studio conditions. When it comes to smaller objects, controlling the lighting conditions is very important.